Welcome to the Engineering Emotions and Energy Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wink. This is the show where we're dedicated to helping you live a life with less stress, more energy, and doing something that you love and you're passionate about. And today I'm talking about something very special, talking about the system I've developed that can actually help you live that life. It is the Perfect Life meditation system. And within as little as 5 minutes a day, it can help transform your life to give you the life that you've always wanted. And you might be wondering, like, Justin, I'm a perfectionist. Perfectionism's bad. We're not supposed to try to be perfect. Exactly. You're not supposed to try to be perfect. Perfect Life Meditation System is all about discovering how your life is perfect, how it is. You're like, what are you talking about? You're kidding me, right? Like, do you know how the bills I have? Do you know how many arguments I get in with maybe kids, spouse, coworkers? Like, do you know how soul crushing what I'm doing for a living is? Have you seen the number on my scale and my blood pressure numbers and my cholesterol? Do you know what it's like when I go to the doctor? Like, I get it. The thing is, once you understand how your mind works and what's been going into your mind, you'll go like, that's why I have the life I have. Your life is exactly the way it is meant to be based on everything that has gone into your mind since you were born. The only challenge is that you were not consciously aware of what was going into the programming. And why am I so if you're new to the podcast, let me tell you a little bit about myself and why I know so much and why I'm talking about programming in the first place. So my background is I have a PhD in electrical engineering. And one of my specialties is working with very complicated systems and their programming. I really started getting into this when I was about 15 years old when I started doing computer repair. So, first dealing with personal computers. At that time, Windows 95 was the brand new thing, and trying to get that, onto a 486, likely you needed a Pentium, and there was even, there was AMD, but there was also this other company called Cyrix. And so, there's some different hardware, and then there's the programming. So you had to understand, the components, and then you had to understand what it was programmed with. So you could have the most latest, greatest, amazing, motherboard, CPU, graphics card, all that stuff. But if you load it up with ancient old DOS, which is a text-based operating system, you're not going to get any cool graphics. You're not going to get any fun games. You're just going to be, typing away and stuff like that. And our minds are a lot like that. Like, basically, probably when you were born, you've been fed the equivalent of Microsoft DOS 6.02. And there are way more advanced operating systems available, and that is what the Perfect Life meditation system is all about. And this is something that I started with computers, and then I got my PhD in electrical engineering, and I've been working in the tech field along that. But 15 years ago, that's when I really got dedicated to applying my knowledge and my expertise and my passion to the most complex system in all the universe, and that's the human mind. And I started getting into meditation. I started getting into mindfulness. I started trying to learn as many techniques in personal development, neurolinguistic programming, hip, techniques of hypnosis. So I've really done a lot of study and I've tried a lot of things. So I know what works, what doesn't work. And a lot of times, if you look at the Perfect Life meditation system, you'll be like, I know a lot of this stuff. And you do. Yet a lot of stuff, the power is in the sequence, right? It's in the order of operations, right? Like if you're wanting to bake a cake and you just put all the ingredients right into the oven, you're not going to get a cake, right? You gotta mix the ingredients in the proper sequence and then put them into the proper bowl, the proper temperature, and that's how you get your delicious cake or whatever it is you're trying to bake. So a lot of it is what goes into the sequencing. And each component is powerful on its own, yet it's the sequencing that really, really gives it the special secret sauce that can really be life transforming. And you can either do all of it in about 20 minutes, or you can split it up in just 5 minutes a day, do little pieces every day. Because a lot of things like fitness for the body, fitness for the mind, it's more powerful to do a little every day than a big, big, big chunk and then, do nothing. So it's like if you were to run a marathon and then do nothing afterwards, you're you're probably, maybe there's some health benefits. This is probably actually a horrible example. So, because probably if you just ran a marathon with no training, no practice, it probably would be bad for your health, and you would probably be worse off after you ran the marathon. Um, but if you, started running, a mile a day and did that every day, you'll be way better off than if you just run a marathon and then sit on your ass for an entire month, right? So similar working with the mind. It's more important to have a regular practice, if as little as 5 minutes a day, than to, go somewhere. And I mean, I've had this, and not to say that there's anything wrong with a long retreat. In fact, those can be really helpful in getting you kick-started or getting you deeper when you already have a daily practice. Yet if you just go do, a week-long retreat or an all-day retreat, meditating, doing something like that, and then you go back to what you did, you're maybe there's a chance something will change. Chances are you're going to have the exact same life if you don't, commit to doing something daily, to do something different. Because really, it's what you do in your mind every day results in what you have in your life right now. So if you start having different thoughts, you'll start having a different life. Because a lot of people think that the universe, gives you what you want. It's not true at all. The universe gives you who you are. So if you can say, I want loving relationships, I want $1 million, I want great health, um, and you're probably not a lot's going to change, because one thing is just that language pattern is telling the mind that that's something you don't have. You don't have those things. And if you're still the person that's just wanting those things, you're not the person that's going to have those things. Whereas if you focus on, well, who do I have to be to have the things I want in life? And so you are a healthy person, you are an abundant person, you are a healthy person. Did I say healthy person? Wealthy, abundant, loving, loved person. If you are all those things, those will start to show up in your life. The universe, the world, the external will reflect that back to you. And so that's really what the perfect life meditation system is all about, is the most easiest, most effective way so that you can be the person who has the life that you want. Because again, you are operating perfectly. It's so magical. It's so cool. Just it's kind of like one of those things, like if you have a beautiful, beautiful sports car, right? Um, one of the metaphors I like to use is, say one of my dream cars growing up as a kid was a Lamborghini Countach. I don't think they even make them. I've never driven one. I intend to try one out, or some other Lamborghini for fun. Um, it's a amazing sports car, built for speed, built for agility, whatever. But if I try to use that to, load up, if I want to use that to basically move from one house to another, to move furniture, things like that, it's not going to work out very well, because that is just not the best use of that equipment. And effectively, that's what many of us are doing with the programming, is we're trying to move furniture with a very well crafted sports car. We're wondering why we're not going as fast as we want to get to where we want to go. And it's because we're not loading up our beautiful, beautiful machine of the human mind with the right programming. So I want to tell you the components of it. I've already done some podcasts where I kind of go into depth, and the ones that I haven't yet, I'm going to in the future. So I'll likely turn this kind of into like a podcast special, where this will be the intro, and then I'll have a page, and you'll be able to really easily go through the different parts. So this is just kind of like the overview of what is the perfect life meditation, and what can it do for you. So the first component is all about relaxing the mind. So that's getting your mind out of the busy beta and into your alpha and your theta waves. Because in the state of deep relaxation, your mind is no longer on guard. trying to protect itself about every little thing. It's more open to what is actually best holistically. So not just, hey, is it different to be compassionate? Oh, that's different than what I've been doing. So let me automatically reject that. In a relaxed state, if you give the mind the suggestion that, hey, let's love ourselves, let's love some others, um, it's more likely to go, yeah, I can see how that's good. So that's why it's really important to relax the mind, to settle down, to not be in that agitated go, go, go state. So we start with relaxing the mind. Then we go into love and compassion, then a gratitude practice. After that, so that's basically like we're working sort of in the present to sort of, you know, give us an appreciation of all there is in our life currently. We're getting relaxed, we're learning to love, we're learning to be grateful. And then we move on to practicing forgiveness, which is letting go of the past. Because so often, harm that has been done to us by others, and especially done to us by ourselves, we carry that anger and that resentment of like, oh, I can't believe my parent did that to me. Like, oh, that's what a jerk. And that thought that keeps coming up, that's just recreating that there's jerkiness and harm in the world. And so you might wonder, because I know I've had this experience in my life where it's like, oh, why is there this coworker that reminds me of, the worst traits of my father? Um, it's because I've keep, repeating, I am someone who thinks that the worst traits of my father are a reality. And, as I forgave my father, and seeing that like he was just doing the best with what he had at the time and did a lot of really great stuff. Um, the people that reminded me of the traits that I had to forgive, they're kind of washed away, and I get a lot better, cooler people coming into my life. And so we let the past kind of go away, practicing forgiveness, and then we get to start on the part that I know you want, that I know you're interested in, and that's crafting your future life. And so we do this by asking a question that I did an episode on, where I said, actually did two episodes on avoiding why, and we use it in the powerful way, which is where we presuppose that something you already want in your life is true, and we ask why is it true? Like, why does money pile up in my life? Why am I so healthy? Why is there so much love in my life? So this helps us to start crafting that identity that I am someone that has the traits, has the things, has the life that I want. So that then just naturally, this is sort of associated with the reticular activation system, which is where the what the mind is thinking of, the mind sees in the world. It's like if you buy a red Honda Civic, you're going to start seeing red Honda Civics all over the place. The other thing is we then go from sort of 2 to 3 years in the future to bring it into like, well, what does a really good day tomorrow look like? So we visualize what your day looks like tomorrow so that it can be, you know, remember, if tomorrow is just a little bit better than today, and we compound that over the time, think of how amazing your life is going to get. So this is the power of 1%. Because, many financial advisors, they have what appears to be a really low fee of like, oh, we only charge you 1% of the assets that we manage for you. It's just a measly, teeny, insignificant 1%. You get the other 99. But did you know the reason that they're so happy to take that low fee is that over about 30 to 40 years, that basically ends up taking away about usually at most rates of returns somewhere around 30% of what your portfolio value would be. So if you didn't have them, you would, say you would end up with $1 million without that 1%. Because you had lost that 1% from them, you would only be having like about $700,000. So it's like, would you pay $300,000 for the advice? And oftentimes you'd probably go like, no, they weren't worth $300,000. Yet, but again, sometimes it could be worth it because again, to make sure that you're not making horrendous mistakes, that could be worth it. So I'm not here to like totally dump on financial advisors. I've used them. I will use them in the future. Make sure you get a fiduciary, though. I might do a whole topic on that in the future. So, we're looking at a 1% advantage of improving each day after each day. So every day in every way, getting better and better. And then the next part is we're bringing it to, it's a blessing, it's a wish, and it's also calling into a way of being that you want for yourself. So, you know, just saying like, may I be confident, may I be bold, may I be healthy, may I be abundant. So this is really starting to say, this is who I am, because I am is forever. It's past, present, future, and we want to be having very powerful, declarative, helpful declarations of I am, as opposed to sort of the negative ones that a lot of times you might have noticed some people get like, oh, I'm so unhappy. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm broke. Oh, I'm tired. Like, do you get like those statements? That's past, present, future. That fucks up your life if you have those thoughts. And you might not even say that, but if you think that, and then you're wondering like why you're sick, why you're tired, why you're poor, why you're having a hard time with people, like that, there it is. And so here we're starting to put in positive ways of being through the Perfect Life meditation system. Then finally, this is a big one. This is something that I got from when I first started meditating in a Tibetan Buddhist tradition of Shambhala. They taught an open-eyed meditation technique called shamatha. And this is especially powerful after doing all the previous practices, which I like to think of as these are all tools in your toolbox that, it's great to do formally, yet you also can do them at any time of the day. But, imagine this, you're very happy with your present. You've let go of your past. You now have an ideal future. Now you can just float in awareness with your eyes slightly open. And this is allowing you to take all of that and start to connect it to the outside world. Because it's one thing if you can be, laying down on a cushion, sitting down, and, realize like, yeah, my life is perfect. And then, the timer rings and it's time to go about your day. And it's like, oh man, my life is a shit show. Like that's not what we want. We want this meditative state of being where we have awareness, we have consciousness, we have agency over our thoughts and what we're creating in the world. We want to have that, with our eyes open as we're out and about in the world. So that's where this eyes open meditation, where we're like a little bit more connection with the outside world while we've had this phenomenal inner state, getting used to that and just noticing, well, what's coming up? What's coming up in the thoughts? What's coming up with sounds? And then how does that impact my thoughts? And then what am I seeing? Does that impact what I'm thinking, feeling, whatever? And that is the magic of the Perfect Life meditation system. And I starting to get workshops going on this. I'm starting to have a membership program that I'm working on so that we can, virtually from anywhere in the world, get together, connect, practice these tools, do a little Q&A, connect as a community, and have a little guided program that you can sort of do on your own. So a lot of great things. So really go to the website, justinwink.com, sign up to be on my mailing list so that, if I have a workshop coming up in your area or I got something really cool, you can be the first to know about it. Because, it's really, the sooner you get going, the sooner you're going to have the benefits, right? So I really don't want you to have to wait. So, subscribe to this podcast. Please rate it 5 stars. If you got any questions or comments, things that could be improved, podcast@justinwink.com. Find me on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on the LinkedIn. So come find me, Justin Wink, usually Justin Wink, Ph.D. So thanks so much and good day.